Welcome everybody. This is Chris Nobles with Die Hard Boxing, bringing you episode 3. Obviously, you know what's going on with my man Ty. Thank you for all the prayers and all the support. He is going through rehabilitation right now, so we're all going to keep him in our thoughts and prayers throughout. And thank you everybody who donated to the campaign as well, from Die Hard Boxing, just to everybody. So today's topic, we're going to get right into it because I know he would have wanted us to continue, and so I'm going to go ahead and get into some topics I think are on the landscape. A lot of it has been happening on the landscape of boxing lately. You know, we've got this Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Conor McGregor fight, and no matter what you think about it, no matter who you think is going to win, obviously you're talking about it. You want to see it, whether you admit it or not. You say you're not going to pay for it. I can respect that, but don't say you're not going to watch it. Don't say you're not going to stream it. Don't say you're not going to go somebody's house and watch it. Okay, because it's kind of like watching a train wreck. You know, it's there, but you're interested in seeing what's going to happen. And for this fight, although we know that Mayweather is more than likely going to pitch a shutout, this is, after all, boxing. This isn't the what if somebody hits the lottery. You know, nobody's going to pay $99, whatever they're paying, to watch this fight and actually think McGregor is going to win. If you do pay that with that expectation, you're in for a big letdown. I'm telling you right now. Even the most optimistic MMA fan has got to be realistic about the chances of Conor McGregor. I don't care how he looked in sparring against Paulie Malignaggi or what the rumor is. I've seen the man spar a little bit, and he's going up against the best. So whether he even connects as much as anybody else that Floyd's ever fought against, that's up for debate. I don't really think he's going to do that well. I think we're talking about a 6-round fight at most. Floyd's going to wear him down, and what I really wanted to get into, without talking about who's going to win this fight, to me, that's a no-brainer. But what I wanted to delve into more is what this fight kind of represents for boxing. Now, Floyd could have fought anybody to get this 50th win. He could have taken on Triple G. He could have taken on, one of these up-and-comers like Keith Thurman, who's been calling him out, Errol Spence, somebody else. But instead, he chose to go this route. And the reason for that, I think, is because of all the hype surrounding, and people say that MMA is nothing, this and that, but McGregor knows how to market himself, almost to the extent that Floyd knows how to market himself. Even Floyd said in one of their pressers that McGregor took his blueprint. Well, what is that blueprint? The blueprint is people love cocky fighters. I'm just going to say people love to see cocky fighters. If they didn't like that, then they wouldn't even be watching WWE, right? People like to be entertained. People want to see somebody who's braggadocious, out there talking, and they get beat, right? So half the fans, of one of these particular fighters may not like that fighter, but they're going to be tuning in just to watch that fighter lose. That's the blueprint. I mean, it's really simple. Look at AB. He took it. I don't know that AB is really an elite fighter. I think he's a very good fighter, but I think he's one hell of a marketer. And he marketed himself to the point where people want to see his fights because, not only the people who are part of his fan base who like AB and want to see him really be about billions, but people who want to see him fall off and people who enjoyed watching him lose to Maidana, right? You don't know how many, memes and how many discussions I saw of people talking about that fight well after the fact, even to this day. Just the haters, but they all were watching. That's my point. You got to have a blend of both these days to kind of really market yourself. And really, what does that mean? That, to me, it's an indictment on society because of the fact that we're really, we want to see people be successful. We want to see people fall off. What happened to the glory days? When people like rooted for somebody just because they really enjoyed their skills, or like Sugar Ray Leonard, that squeaky clean image, the golden boy, right? Or, even liken it to WWE, and just talking about society as a whole. They like you take your vitamins and the Hulk Hogan's, and now they like the guys like CM Punk. We like the guys who talk trash, like like a McGregor or Floyd Mayweather. These are the guys that you guys idolize, and so now we've got all this younger generation thinking that's the way it has to be, and to an extent it does, because in order to be successful marketing yourself in boxing or MMA or even WWE, you have to be that heel to an extent. You got to be that guy that not only people like, but people dislike. You got to walk a fine line. And so it's sad, but for me, maybe I'm in the minority. I'm always going to root for the guy who's just got the skills, backs it up. That type of person who scores a touchdown like Barry Sanders and hands the ball off to the referee. Not all about that self promotion and all that, because to me that's corny, man. But that's what society as a whole likes, and so people love to get in debates and discussions about, oh, people don't like cocky fighters. Well, guess what? I beg to differ. The majority of you do. All right, and if you don't like them, then you're watching them for other reasons, to watch them fail. But either way, you're watching, and that's what the sports come to, and that's why the reason for this fight. Honestly, Floyd is brilliant in his marketing. This WWE Circus Act show, being introduced into boxing, it is what it is. Is it going to be a competitive fight? Come on. I don't think so. You can talk all you want. You're going to watch it. I'm going to watch it just for what it is. But my expectations aren't that high. But I will be watching because I want to be able to talk about whatever does happen and be the one to tell you, I told you so. I'm sorry. If this was a cage match, come on. McGregor would have a great chance of winning the fight because Floyd's not accustomed to takedowns and leg kicks and things of that nature. He's predominantly a boxer. And even McGregor in his, if you listen to what he's saying in these pressers and in all this hype, he's talking about excuses that almost sounds like, talking about this isn't a real fight, this is a 1/4 of a fight. Mayweather's talking about getting in the cage next, so it's almost as though he already knows. I mean, he's not stupid. It's just a huge payday for him. So, kudos to both these guys. Hey, heck of y'all are businessmen. You're doing what you got to do to get the money, and as P.T. Barnum once said, there's a sucker born every minute, and I guess I'll be a sucker because I'll be watching right along with the rest of you. Well, that's Chris Nobles. I'm signing off for Die Hard Boxing. Remember to protect yourself at all times, and we'll catch you in the next round.